So it finishes Chelsea 2, Bournemouth 2. More drop points then from Chelsea after some suggested they were in this title race.
You?
Yes, me. Yes, me.
Name names.
Yeah, that was silly.
I want to go to that hair pull quickly.
Yeah.
Because if you just pull some... If it's a throw-in and the player's backing into you and you tug his hair a little bit, that's minor. Cucurella, they were on a break, right? And I don't want to see anybody being sent off. But if you've watched Premier League football, you will have known that a player the season before should have been sent off for pulling Cucurella's hair, and there's been another one has been sent off this season, I believe, for doing so. When Cucurella is flying at full speed and you grab somebody's hair, there's going to be like a jerk action back the way. That's kind of a little dangerous to me. And I think the VAR operator was right sending the referee to the monitor. His interpretation, I believe, was wrong on this occasion.
Stevie?
100%.
Really, you agree, yeah?
100% red card. No question.
Because it's the hair and not the shirt.
Well, it is, and it is dangerous. You know, it's just dangerous. And you blatantly go out your way and grab somebody like that, then it's a red card.
I mean, if you put your arm out in their face and do that as he's running past, you're going to get a red. If you're pulling the hair, come on, everybody's had their hair pulled. I know I've not got a lot these days. Well, do you want to try?
Yes, be careful, hairs. Overall, this game should have been finished at half-time, which we've said so much about.
But it should have been. But then we were sitting watching the games and we said, remember Fulham? It's not long ago. Came out in the second half, were excellent, won the game. So it was not... I don't think... We said Bournemouth could go and win this. At 1-0 down, Bournemouth could go and win it. And they were so dangerous. And it took a good free kick, but a keeper error in the end to get Chelsea that point at the end. Bournemouth are a good side, so they were dangerous. There was no surprise that they would come out in the second half and play like they did. And I think we're seeing sort of Chelsea hit that plateau now of...
Really hit that plateau.
Where we kind of thought they were going to be. And it's whether they can sustain any consistency or regain some consistency between now and the end of the season to get into that top four. That's going to be a fight for them now, top four, because the Fulhams and the Bournemouths are as organised and are as big a threat as Chelsea are.
It's incredible when you say that they led in the last 3 games, Stevie, and they haven't got across the line, they haven't done it. They've only scored those 4 goals. And you do look at Jackson and you do think, you know, at this level, you've got to be taking the chances that he's creating.
Well, I think, number one, if he in particular had taken his chances, you're talking about the Fulham game, you're talking about this one in particular, then regardless of them losing 2 goals, they would have been out of sight. But the fact is, recently they've started losing a lot of goals. And a lot of that is because they've had to make changes at centre-back. I certainly wasn't a huge fan of Fofana, but at the same time, they did start the season pretty well defensively. But now, with all the changes, they're conceding goals. And listen, when you don't kill teams off, particularly a team like Bournemouth, who just don't change. It doesn't matter what the score is. They don't change the way they play. They're always trying to go forward at every opportunity, and they've got pace, and obviously they can finish. So yeah, Chelsea, I think the biggest problem is the back line. I think they're going to have to get a settled pairing pretty soon if they do want to challenge for that top 4 spot.
I think Jackson's having a more than decent season. I mean, lately maybe not so. First half, and I think the difference here is, and Chelsea, I'm sure with Enzo Maresca will have to address probably that position. As well as others, but I think the difference here is from sort of Chelsea and Arsenal is Chelsea were never expected to be in a title race, whereas Arsenal were quite a few people's favourites at the start.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think Arsenal needs to be brought into this conversation, do we?
No,
this is Chelsea who.
Yeah, but
really...
I'm thinking about Arsenal fans sitting. Well, you talk about our strikers, now you're not talking about Chelsea's.
I think the thing for
paranoid people.
The thing for Chelsea is the quality of the opposition, which they've dropped points. And I know Bournemouth are strong, and I know Fulham are strong. But at home, when you're in the lead, you need to be putting these games to bed, and they're not.
I've given Jackson. Most of us have given Jackson a lot of credit this year because I didn't even think the performances he showed in the first half of the season, that he had it in him. And he superseded most people's expectations of his all-round game. That doesn't mean most of us sit here and think he's the second coming of Didier Drogba and he's going to be the answer. That is what they have at the moment. I think ultimately, and maybe Christopher Nkunku at some point was going to be that guy. That doesn't seem to be the case. So maybe they'll go out and address that again. They've got Breuer, who's clearly not fancied. He's out on loan.
Mark Hugh obviously has been doing all right in the Conference League, but they don't.
Yeah, but I mean,
level.
they've always had most of these big London sides and these teams challenging for the titles have had somebody up front who is different gravy, for want of a better terminology. He's okay, and he's definitely had his moments this year. But we'll see more of those misses that we saw, and that's from that header that was saved. We'll see more of that than we will of the really good Nico Jackson.
It's really a case of, well, he's doing better than we thought he would.
Yeah,
but
where's that
if you want to take the next step, and be constantly in the top 4 and then challenging, he's not your guy.
As we said around the conversation about the title race, there's nothing at all that suggests that Chelsea are going to go on a run now to really boost them and go up into the top 4 and comfortably do that in Champions League. This is going to be a scrap, isn't it? Right down to the final day.
Well, and the good thing for Chelsea is that the teams in and around them are kind of doing the same thing.
Sure.
So, yes, we can sit here and we can say that, you know, Jackson's going to be a hindrance at the end of the day for top 4, and, you know, they need to settle down at centre-back. But then if we start talking about all the teams around them, they've all got maybe not similar but different types of problems.
Let's